All right, well, welcome to our class tonight. I'm so excited about this class. It is on outdoor first aid and natural solutions, all the things that you can think you need to take care of when you're outdoors. I hope I covered all for you, and if not, we can talk about more at the end of class. So my name is PJ Hanks. I'm an essential oil educator, lover, author, speaker. I love teaching about essential oils, but more importantly, I love using them. And I've used my share already today and will continue to do so. And I love the outdoors. My desk, we live in the Pacific Northwest outside Seattle, out in the rural part. And my desk actually looks out a huge span of windows onto a beautiful field and trees on a hillside. And we have walking paths all over. And I love the mountains and the trees. And I also love the beach. So I'm excited to present today some of the things that I've learned and helped people with in using essential oils outside. And this is my family. Oh, wow. Maybe, well, the twins were only 2. They just turned 6. So this is my family. This is Wallowa Mountains in Oregon. We had taken a gondola up to the top of the mountains and loved walking around up there. And I have 3 kids. My oldest son is married and has these 2 twins plus a new baby who's just turned 1. And so we love being outdoors together as a family as well. And so we always take our oils. I always have some oils on me when we're outside. And you can bet in my son's backpack and my backpack are some essential oils that we probably used. So just a reminder, especially in case we have anyone new on tonight, that there's 3 cool things about essential oils. And the first is that they are safe. They're 100% natural. They're powerful, so a little goes a long way. For example, peppermint can be energizing. It can promote a clear breathing. It can cool the body, and it can relieve head tension. All those things we might have when we're outdoors. So you might want to carry around some peppermint. They're also very effective. Actually, they're more effective often than modern approaches because they can get right to the cells and inside the cells and do that protecting and cleaning and things that we're looking for. And because they can permeate that cell membrane, they're very fast in what they can do. You will, however, need to use a little more often to see that effectiveness. Now, one of the things, the oils that we love that we see a lot of effectiveness with is On Guard. This is our protective blend. It has clove and cinnamon and eucalyptus, and it has, I'm just sorry, I was letting people in the waiting room. And I love it for helping promote my health, my immune system. It might soothe a sore throat. It's good for cleansing your home or your hands, like having the On Guard hand sanitizing spray is something that I always carry with me when I'm out, when I'm in my hiking bag or in my purse. So that's another one. In fact, you should probably have a pen and a paper and just write down a list of things you're like, oh, I didn't think about that. I should use that. Have that on my list of things when I go out the door to enjoy the outdoors. And they are actually affordable. I have a lot of people, oh, they're so expensive, but they're actually more affordable than traditional medical care. And they're pennies per dose. So when you think about buying over-the-counter things anymore, everything's so expensive. You can save hundreds of dollars a year in medical costs by having your own toolbox of essential oils. It's learning how to use them. So for example, lavender is not only calming for the mind and a great thing for helping you sleep, but it can be calming for the skin, and it can help you when you are exposed to some things that create some discomfort. So it's also good if you get too close to some heat, overdo the sun. Lavender is definitely another oil that we want to have with us when we are out exploring or outdoors, and we want to carry that with us as well. The next thing is that there's 3 basic ways to use essential oils. One is aromatically. You just like tonight, and you're trying to wake up and be awake for the class, you could put some wild orange or peppermint on your hands and rub them together and then just breathe that in. Now, one of the things I like to do is to carry this breathe roll on. And I carry it with me whenever I'm outdoors because I get a lot of seasonal discomforts when I'm exposed. I have issues with mold. So whenever I'm out in the forest, I often have some problems. And so I often carry breathe, and I'll just roll it on my chest, or I'll just roll some on my hands and then just breathe that in, and it helps promote that clear breathing when I'm out and around, or especially when I'm around campfires. That can also create some issues for my sinuses. So those are a couple more oils you may want to put on your list to carry when you're outdoors, and know that they don't always have to be applied topically. You can just roll them on your hands, put a drop in your hands, and breathe them in. The other way to use essential oils is topically. This would be for local benefit, localized benefits, dilute with, and you might want to dilute it with some fractionated coconut oil. And I either carry with me when I'm outdoors, either a small bottle of fractionated coconut oil, which sometimes we can get from doTERRA, or you may want to just get a dropper bottle that's about like this size and put some fractionated coconut oil in there and carry it with you. Or if you're carrying the small keychains that hold little 5-8 drams of essential oils, you could fill one of those 5-8 drams with some fractionated coconut oil that will help you dilute that oil and spread it further and help it to be applied topically. So let me give you an example. Let's say you've been out hiking all day or out on that beach all day, and you realize your arms are a little warm, a little red. So what you might do is take some of that fractionated coconut oil, put it on your hand, put in 1 or 2 drops of lavender, maybe some frankincense too, if you have that, and then just rub that on your arms, and you'll be amazed at how that will soothe it and help that recovery process move along a little bit more. So a couple oils I always carry with me when I'm out and about is I always have some deep blue to soothe those achy muscles and joints. And I always carry Digestin because I can do a couple of things many things with Digestin. Again, topically, I can put it along my nose, often making sure it's diluted because your face skin is sensitive. And it will also help with that respiratory system. I can put a drop under my tongue when I might experience some tummy issues or some motion sickness if you're out on the water or in the car too long. And you can rub it on your tummy topically when you might have some need for some tummy issues. All these are things that we experience when we're in the outdoors or taking those road trips for the summer. Now, the other way to use oils is internally. And that's only with doTERRA essential oils, because we know the quality of those oils are safe enough for internal use. So there's a few ways to do that. You can put a drop or 2 in water and drink it down. So if you're out drinking water that has not necessarily been filtered well, you could put a couple drops of lemon in there to help make sure that I wouldn't necessarily use it on river water or something like that, but just like even when I go to a restaurant, I like to put lemon in the water because I imagine they're not filtering their water. And so that's one way to use it. You can also put the On Guard in water and drink that down. Some frankincense to help keep your cells healthy. And you can also carry some veggie caps. So I carry in my bag at least 6 to, I usually save some of my supplement little bottles, and I'll put some empty veggie caps in there. And when I feel like I need some extra help with something, I'll put a couple of drops of the oil in there and I'll take those down with that. Or I've been known to put oils like Digestin or frankincense or Spanish sage directly under my tongue and it will help me often recover from some issues that I might be dealing with. So those are the 3 ways: aromatically, topically, and internally, as well as a list of some oils you can use for when you're outdoors or taking those road trips and stuff. Now, so what we're going to talk about next is kind of things like what do we need to do and have on hand for oils when we're on road trips, we're hiking, we're on the beach, we're at the pool, all those things we might do in the summer and outdoors. So basically, here are the common outdoor wellness issues we might encounter. Gastroenteritis, man, I am like gastroenteritis. I can't even say the word, and my son suffers from it all the time. Basically, it's upset tummy from bad water or something like that. Sprains and knee injuries, broken bones, unfortunately, scrapes and lacerations, heat injuries, and burns. Now, I hope that none of us have any of this summer, but let's be prepared to deal with it, right? The other common outdoor illness issues are blisters, shock, pest control, car issues like car sick, boredom, tired, plant reactions, and stress and anxious feelings. So we're going to cover all of these outdoor wellness issues tonight, and I'm going to give you some oils, essential oils that you could use for each one of these. So the first one is that tummy ache. I'm not even going to try to say the word tonight. I guess I'm a little tongue-tied tonight. But it's whenever you might have food poisoning or an upset tummy from something you ate. And so let's talk about some oils that you could use. And these are ones I always carry with me in my backpack. Again, I don't always carry the big bottles. I have a little carrier to carry the 5-8 drams or something like that. In fact, I'll show you at the end, I have this little kit. It says emergency essential oils on here, and this is one that I carry around, and it holds 12 little essential oil drams. I can get my Correct-X in there, and there's a little pocket on the outside where I have some Deep Blue, I have some Band-Aids, and I have some On Guard wipes. So these are some oils I carry in there. Purify is a great oil, especially for that upset tummy, especially when it's due to a bug or something we picked up. So, and this is an oil that you do not take internally, you do it topically. So you would just rub it on your tummy. And of course, digestion often solves so many problems. And that's one you can take internally or rub topically. And then there's cardamom, which you can also put under your tongue in water on your tummy. Cardamom is the oil to use when you want to stop it from all coming back up. You have that nausea, right? But I also want to tell you about DDR Prime and On Guard. Those are 2 supplements that doTERRA has. Now, one, of course, is an essential oil that is in a gel cap, as is the On Guard. These are both oil gel caps. On Guard has the On Guard oil, as well as Melissa, oregano, and DDR Prime has 8 oils to help with cellular repair. So Emily Wright, the president of doTERRA, recently shared a story of her travels in the Middle East and how the whole group got some food poisoning or upset tummies from the food that they ate. And she said, but I didn't. And here's why she thinks she didn't, is because she said, when I'm traveling like that and I'm eating food that I don't know about, I will take almost every 2 hours, I'll take one time, I'll take one On Guard, and then 2 hours later, I'll take one DDR Prime, and then I'll take an On Guard and do it. She goes, and I do that for those days that I'm traveling when I'm eating foods that I not too.
Are you yelling?
So go ahead. And anyway, that's a couple things you might want to carry and have in your backpack as well, or at least have a supply of in one way or another when you're traveling. The other is sprains. Now, we often will sprain our ankle or our foot, or mostly it's our ankles, right? Maybe your knee, but mostly it's your ankles. So these are all of my favorite oils and things to have on hand. And you need to remember the rice. You want to rest it, ice it, compress it, and elevate it whenever there is an injury like that. So we also want to use like deep blue. You could use the deep blue oil, the deep blue touch, which you can easily carry in smaller containers. And then of course, that's why I have the deep blue rub here in my little emergency kit. And I'll often throw in my deep blue stick in my backpack as well, to help kind of support the inflammatory system, ease the aches and pains that come from that, and get that elevated, get some ice on it. And if you have some compression, like wrap it with an ace bandage or something. And then you can use copaiba, frankincense, and blue tansy to also support that inflammatory system and help that respond quickly and get back to enjoying your vacation or whatever it is you're doing outdoors, right? Now, I also want to share with you what I call my magic blend. I have this made up in a roller bottle, and I have bottles all over. I have practically every room in my house has a bottle of magic in it, and I always carry one in my purse and my backpack, because this is truly my magic blend for when there might be a sprain or there might be any kind of owie where I need to support my inflammatory system, my immune system, and ease any aches or pains from anything. So what you do is you get a 10 ml roller bottle and you put 20 drops of frankincense, 20 drops of copaiba, and 10 drops of Siberian fir. Now, if you still have some of the white fir that many of us had from years ago, you could use that instead of the Siberian fir. It actually works a little bit better. And you blend that together with some fractionated coconut oil in that 10 ml roller bottle. And for comfort, you apply it to the area of concern, or you can put it in your palms of hands and just breathe it in. This is my favorite oil for when I wake up in the middle of the night. And I don't know, I've had a bad dream or I'm just a little anxious about things. And I'll often just roll a little under my nose, and the aroma of this is so relaxing. I love this blend. So I have made up a small bottle of it, and I carry it around as well when I'm outdoors or out hiking. Carry it in my purse. And so please take a picture of this and feel free to make up this blend and have it with you for those times that you might need it. All right, the next thing is broken bones, and I hope nobody experiences any broken bones this summer, but in case you're around someone who does, or you need to take care of that, I have experienced my own broken bone when I twisted my ankle too far and broke my meniscus, one of my bones in my foot, and it was really close to the ankle. So again, I used a lot of deep blue. We didn't have the deep blue stick when I did that, but I used a lot of deep blue oil. I used wintergreen. We didn't have copaiba, which would have been so great in helping to support the inflammatory system. Blue tansy, frankincense is also great for all of these things. The other thing is, know when you break a bone, it's important to do what I call stage oils. In that, in the first few days, you're just trying to support the inflammatory system and ease the discomfort. And then once you figure out how bad the break is, this is something where you need to involve a healthcare professional, find out, decide if surgery is necessary, what needs to happen, casting, boot, whatever. But once that initial diagnosis is made and you've starting to recover, you can then use other oils to help with the blood flow, to help the healing of those bones, and again, supporting the inflammatory. And then as you get further into healing and seeing that broken bone heal, there are other oils you can use to help the bones to heal as fast as possible and help the body respond accordingly. So know that it's like a staging, but that initial stage when you're out, you've been hiking, and there's a possible break, even a sprain. We don't know if that's a broken bone sometimes. These again are the oils that I would have on hand to use and apply to that area until you find out for sure how to best serve the issue. Now, this is my bone discomfort blend. Again, take a picture of this so you have it. And I encourage you to make it up and have it around, because it's not something you like wish you had, and then you're sitting there with the broken bone, or you have a bone that really hurts because it got bruised. It is possible to bruise bones. So this includes arborvitae, wintergreen, or birch, which doTERRA is going to soon have birch available on a permanent basis, black pepper, sandalwood, cinnamon, cardamom, copaiba, and you put those in a 10 ml roller bottle, finish it off with the fractionated coconut oil, and like the magic blend, apply it to that area of discomfort. It's better to apply a little every 15 to 30 minutes, and then eventually every hour as you need that discomfort eased. And so this is one of my favorite blends to have around when a bone is involved, and it's because bone pain is one of the worst. All right, what about scrapes, lacerations? Again, stage it. It first needs to be cleaned, and then you need to provide some relief, and then you need to support, and then you need to repair. So I've tried to put these oils kind of in the order of how I would use them in staging. First, I would use lavender or geranium to clean the wound, the laceration, and then provide some relief with some deep blue, some frankincense, copaiba. On guard to make sure that you're supporting the immune system around that. On guard can also ease the flow of blood a little bit and kind of help the body clot that blood if it's bleeding. And then you want to go in, and once you've done those stages, and that can be, depending on how bad it is, this can take 2 or 3 days of staging. Or if it's just a small thing, a scrape or something, you might go do this within 2 or 3 hours, right? And then the oils at the end are the helichrysum, the rose, and of course I didn't include in here, but you could use immortelle as well, because it has frankincense, rose, sandalwood, all the great, and helichrysum. It's kind of a blend of all those great oils to help that repair of that laceration, scrape and laceration. And Correct-X is one of the favorites in our household. In fact, my husband's like, do we have that? Is it in our first aid to take? So this is our Correct-X. It's made up of frankincense, helichrysum, cedarwood, tea tree, and lavender, which is great, or melaleuca, in helping to, again, for relief and support, and that. So you could put that then under your Band-Aid, or so make sure I always carry a couple Band-Aids with me. I have a latex allergy, so I always have to carry my own Band-Aids. I have bamboo. They're made out of bamboo, so I don't have issues with the Band-Aids as well. But make sure you have a couple of Band-Aids on hand in your backpack or your first aid kit, however you carry it, right? All right, the other thing you may not think about, but as we are into summer, is heat issues. And you have to watch for signs of heat exhaustion and heat stroke. So this is a great picture for you to take. Have it on your phone so that when someone's beginning to show any of these symptoms, you can look at it and go, okay, where am I? Do I need to be concerned? And of course, when we hit that area of heat stroke, you really need to be looking at involving a healthcare professional. Because that's when it could be really fatal if you're not careful. So we need to watch for that. I mean, there were just a couple of deaths in one of the national parks this last week due to heat. So making sure you're drinking lots of water, hydrating, and watching for these signs of symptoms. So I always like to have a picture of this on my phone so that if I see someone experiencing some heat exhaustion, I can look and go, when are we crossing the border here? And I need to be really concerned. The next is, let's talk a little bit about heat issues. Okay. If body temperature goes above 104 degrees, you need to seek emergency medical help immediately. Move to a cool, restful position and hydrate by sipping cool liquids. It's not best to chug it down, but just sip them. Use a peppermint spritz. This is, I love to have a little spray bottle of peppermint. It's mostly water and just 3 or 4 drops of peppermint in there. And I shake it up and I just spray it around, and it helps you feel cool so much faster. And you can also put 2 to 5 drops of peppermint in a cold, damp cloth. Apply that to your forehead or the back of your neck. You could even apply some peppermint. So peppermint also comes in a touch. So you could carry that as well to easily just roll that down the back of the neck and have that applied. So that might help the body start to feel cooler and respond better to that heat. Now, burns and too much sun. And I am so happy that we now have a doTERRA sun line. This is a must in my bag, especially when I'm out where the sun is. I have very fair skin, as you can see. So keep in mind that 2nd and 3rd degree burns require professional medical condition immediately. But immediately when you have an issue with the sun, first of all, you should make sure you have on some sunscreen. So we have the doTERRA face and body stick. This is my favorite. I put it on my face. I put it on my body. It's my favorite. I use it all the time when I'm out because it's easy to just rub on and apply. We have the body spray, which I'm going to recommend that you not necessarily, you could spray it direct. Be careful because that you're not sitting in something you don't want to get a little white because the spray will go on there. Sometimes I just spray it in my hands and then I rub it where I need it. And then we have the face and body lotion, which takes a little bit of effort rubbing in. So that's why I prefer the stick. And we now have the face moisturizer, which is awesome. This is something you can wear on a daily basis to help that skin deal with the sun and also the blue lights we get from computers. So you might want to make that part of your daily care in exposure to the blue light. But my favorite in this line is the after sun. And this is definitely one you want to have with you if you're at the beach, in the water, out hiking where there's a lot of sun, because you'll want to apply this afterwards, because not only does it hydrate so well and help the skin respond to all that dryness that you've had, and you lose water when you're out like that, but it also eases any sun exposure. And I saw this last summer. My brother-in-law was sitting at the pool all day with no sunscreen and no shirt, and he was miserable by night that evening. So we have sprayed some of this after sun on him, and the next morning he woke up and he said, "I can be your testimony. This stuff is amazing." So he applied some more the next morning, and by the end of that second day, he hardly knew he'd been out too long. So we love the after sun. So I would definitely make sure this is part of your plan, and as you go out in the sun, and of course in the winter, for those of you who ski or out in the sun at times doing outdoor activities, it's a good all year to have some of this. But you can also, if you've been exposed to the sun, one way to immediately get some relief and start the skin response is to use some frankincense and lavender together in a lotion or some fractionated coconut oil. I will tell you my experiences. Many years ago, I went to Mexico and I thought I had sunscreened everywhere, but I had not sunscreened my legs. And we were out building sandcastles, and my legs, after 3 hours of being out there, were pretty red. So I told my husband, that was in the morning, I said, we're going to cancel all the afternoon stuff because I don't want this to make me miserable the rest of the week. So literally I set my timer, and every 20 minutes, I put some frankincense and lavender in some lotion that I had, and I applied it to my legs every 20 minutes. And for 2.5 hours, I did that. Just 1 or 2 drops of each every 20 minutes in the lotion. And by the end of 2 hours, I was feeling great relief. And by 2.5 hours, I then moved it to every hour. And by the time we went to dinner, I didn't even feel it. And then I just kept doing it that night a little bit. And the next day, I hardly knew that I had a problem. So I was able to not ruin a vacation by having some frankincense and lavender with me and some lotion. So those are a couple of oils. You can also add tea tree or Monica or Manuka oil for blistering. You can use Copaiba for easing any pain you might have, Helichrysum for skin repair. And some other good oils to have for this are geranium, blue tansy, and of course some marjoram. So those are some ideas for dealing with that sun and helping with that. All right, let's talk about those blisters. I've had a few. My daughter and I went to New Zealand back in 2018, and we hiked like 60 miles over the course of 4 weeks, and I was well prepared, and I didn't get a single blister. But these are some things I had and I carried. I carried some moleskin. I also carried some Band-Aid makes some blister gel guards, which whenever I felt one was coming on, I might put that on. And then if you do get a blister, eucalyptus is one of the best oils for helping that blister to kind of ease and to get better. So eucalyptus is my favorite oil to carry around for that. Other oils such as lavender, tea tree, On Guard are great as well. And then of course, here's where your Correct-X comes in. Once that blister drains, you want to put some Correct-X on it. And you can also soak your feet in a foot bath with Epsom salts, eucalyptus, tea tree, or Aroma Touch. It's my favorite. So that also eases those achy feet, and it eases the blisters as well. So those are some ways to deal with those blisters that you might get from taking those hikes. All right, shock. It's one of the things that can happen when you're traveling for several reasons. Too much sun, you might see something that you didn't want to see, you might see a snake. I don't know, there's all reasons to have shock. I've had 3 different airline flights where I've had the person sitting next to me go in shock for various reasons. And this is my oil of choice, is Balance. I have seen it just bring people back really quickly. So, but you've got to be careful because shock can be serious. It's not something to just make light of. So get their feet up, have them put the Balance on their hand, or just put the bottle right up next to their nose, put some under their nose and let them breathe it in deeply. And Balance helps the cells take in oxygen, and then have them take in deep breaths and relax, and sip on some water. And you'll usually, in all 3 instances in my case where I've had this happen on flights, Balance was our friend. It helped within minutes. So I always carry some Balance for that reason. And if it's too much heat, then you also want to look at the heat things to do, like, get them cooled down, put some peppermint on a rag or a towel, and get them cooled down as well. All right, pest control. How many of you encounter the mosquitoes, the ants, and the ticks, all the other things? So these are all the oils that you can use for pest control. Purify is my favorite to put on a bite. Basil's another one to put on bites. Lavender, those are all my 3 favorites to apply to a bite. And I'm telling you, New Zealand has the biggest mosquitoes ever. And there was one night we left windows open, and I think I got like 50 mosquito bites on my legs. It was miserable, but thanks to Purify and Basil, I didn't suffer too long. But arbor vitae, lemon eucalyptus, citronella, peppermint, and the TerraShield blend are awesome for helping you kind of deter those pests. Sometimes TerraShield is enough, and it's in a fractionated coconut oil base, so you can just spray that on. peppermint, citronella, lemon, eucalyptus, arborvitae. You can all add an extra drop or two of those to your TerraShield to kind of give it a little oomph, depending on how well your mosquitoes and your pests are responding. Of course, peppermint is great to chase away the ants. And so let's talk about, this is probably the recipe you've been waiting for, Anna. This is your insect repellent blend, especially good for ticks. You would put this in a 5 ml bottle. You put 3 to 4 drops in a diffuser on a patio. You could put 3 to 5 drops in a tablespoon of lotion and rub that on. Or you can put 20 to 25 drops of it in a 27 ml, like this kind of spray bottle, like your the On Guard hand spray comes in. Add some FCO and spray it, like making your own TerraShield in a way. You can spray it on your hair, spray it on your hands, rub into your hair, spray some on your lower pant legs or on your clothing. If you're going to spray some on your hair, you might want to make a batch that has water in it so you don't get the oil in your hair. It's up to you. But go ahead, take a picture of this. This is a very popular blend for helping with ticks and pest control. Okay, let's talk about those car issues. Car sickness, boredom, tired. I think we all have somebody in our family who might have one of those problems, or your kids might get bored. I love having a car diffuser. It's one of the best things that we have in our car when we travel. I like to use On Guard to keep me awake. Believe it or not, it actually does a great job. It's On Guard, right? It also helps my immune system while I'm traveling. Or you can put peppermint and wild orange in there to keep you awake. You can use some lavender to ease the car sickness a little bit. Tamer, if you're traveling with kids, this is the #1 oil to have them rub on their tummies when they're feeling that car sickness. If they're bored or if they're having some starting to nitpick each other, put some cheer in your car diffuser, and that will help as well. So those are all some oils I carry around with my car diffuser. It's like I already have my car diffuser plant in my pile to take to the beach next week because we have a 6-hour drive to the beach. Now, this blend I made years ago, and it works like a charm. I call it my Stay Awake blend. This is that blend you make and use when you did not get enough sleep and you really need it to stay awake as you're driving. And I've done a lot of road trips where I was the only one in the car and I needed to stay awake a little bit longer. So I make this up in a bottle, like a small 5 ml bottle. And you can multiply this as much as you just multiply it to fill whatever bottle you have. And then add a few drops to a diffuser, a car diffuser. Or you can put it in a 10 ml roller bottle and just roll it on your wrists and under your nose when you're driving. And it works like a dream. I've used it many, many times. So this is one of my favorite road blends to have for those road trips when you're trying to stay awake. It's not something you want to put on when you want to go to bed. It keeps you awake. Okay, let's talk about those plant seasonal reactions. I have a little experience with that. Tri-Ease, of course, is my favorite, but you can also make a roller blend of lemon, lavender, and peppermint. I like to add a little bit of tea tree to that. Now, if you don't want to roll it on before you go out, you can, and you come in and you're like, I've been in the garden and I've been around too much stuff. You can take a shot glass with about half full of tepid water, put a drop of lemon, lavender, and peppermint, and drink that right down. And wait about 5 minutes. And if you feel like you need a little more, you can do it again. Now, if you're having a really bad reaction, I would personally add a drop of tea tree to that. It kind of like takes it up a notch and helps with that reaction. But again, you can do this every 15 minutes until you're seeing some relief. For me, sometimes it takes 2 or 3 of those little shots before I kind of see that relief. Now, blue tansy is another oil that's great for that. This one, again, you would apply topically, just under your ears, on your wrists, on your chest, maybe a little under your nose, bottom of your feet, to just help the body respond to that reaction. All right, let's talk about easing those feelings of anxiousness. We all get them when we're all traveling together, or we've been together a little too long. My kids always make a joke. Okay, so we're going to the Oregon coast and we have to drive over the bridge from Washington to Oregon near Astoria. It's one of the tallest bridges around, and it gives me great anxiety. My kids are already teasing me. They're adults. I'm like, Mom, we get to drive over that bridge you hate. And I'm like, yeah, I got my adaptive, I got my balance. I'll make sure I take an adaptive pill before I go. I mean, it gives me great anxiety, those anxious feelings, I should say. So I love the adaptive system. And if you know that you're going to be in the car all day with a lot of people, you might take an adaptive capsule in the morning. You might put adaptive in the car diffuser, provided the driver will not be too relaxed from it. You can have the kids roll on some adaptive oil on themselves if they starting to have feelings of anxiousness. And of course, balance is always a go-to for helping with any of these feelings of I've had enough, right? Then I want to share with you one of my favorite tips for being outdoors, and that is to make sure you always carry a bandana or neckerchief or whatever you want to call it. And so you can buy these in bulk. I bought like 10 when I went to New Zealand. They're good, of course, for runny noses. They're good for wetting them and putting that peppermint on them and applying to your forehead and your back of your neck. They're good to put around your neck if you are being exposed to too much sun. They can be used as some compression until you can get to, for a sprain or an area like that. It's also good for helping with, you can tie a couple of them together and use as an arm sling. They're just so good for so many things. So I always like to encourage people to carry a few of these bandanas with them. I carry 2 or 3 in my hiking bag with me. Now, this is where you definitely want to get out your camera and take a few pictures. And because this is great. This is these are some natural first aid kits, some things you want to put together, carry with you. I found this and downloaded it so that if you want to make up your own first aid kit, here's some ideas of what you might want. Having a whistle, thermometer, safety pins helps put those, and then add in the bandanas here, because you can even use emergency bandana as a bandage, pack of tissues, all kinds of things, carry some non-latex gloves, etc. But these are all some great things. Of course, you may have other things to add. And then here's a little cheat sheet in that, just kind of a summary of some of the things we talked about, but that you might find helpful. And there's a couple more recipes down here on the bottom. There's a wound spray. There's an itch stick, and some things, just another cheat sheet for you to have. And you could print this off and cut it out and put it with your first aid kit if you'd like. Okay, I am not sure if we don't have anyone who already has a doTERRA account, but let's just kind of go through the ways you can purchase. You can purchase things retail, not always the most because it's most expensive. And I think everybody on this call probably already has a doTERRA account, which gets you 25% off the retail pricing. And if you're ordering on a monthly basis on our loyalty reward orders, you get an extra percentage back, and that can grow up to 30% as you continue to do that. So for me, I've been getting like 25% off and 30% back in points for 11 some years now, and it's benefited me greatly. I use that to purchase a lot of my household items from doTERRA, such as my laundry detergent and some of the more expensive oils like Rose. So it's a great way to purchase your oils. And if you do not yet have an account, you should contact the person who invited you tonight. Ask them for their link, because if you use their link, you the membership fee of $35 is waived when you use a friend's link. So make sure you ask your friend and get that link from them. And of course, if I was the one invited you, I have a link for you. Okay, so let's this is one of my favorite kits to buy to get started, because the supplements are great in helping you stay healthy, be healthy. And then I also want to show you, this is a keychain, like I mentioned, where you can carry some different oils in there. These are great if you don't, you don't want to carry a backpack necessarily, but you just want to have a little thing you can throw on your belt or in your bag. And so the keychains are great. You can buy those at a lot of, I think doTERRA sells them on there as an accessory that you can purchase or in their marketplace. Now, I want you to be ready for summer, because I think this is going to be a special in July. I'm not 100% sure, where they're going to have a little kit called Ready for Everything. So kind of watch for this in July if I'm right, where you can get all of these different items, I think, in a little kit. Don't mark my word on that, but I think that's what I've heard. So watch for that around this weekend when July comes. Maybe you can add this onto your order and have those. Like I said, in the back of my little thing, I carry some deep blue rubs with me in my little emergency kit. And I got this kit from aromatools.com. I'm sure you can find them elsewhere, but like I said, it actually will hold up to 16 little 5/8 drams. This is my breathe here. And but I left the last row out, and it fits my Correct-X very nicely, so that I can just zip that up. It has a carabiner on it, so I don't have to take my full thing. And then I can stick, like I have an On Guard wipe, I have some of my Band-Aids, and I have deep blue rub packets there as well. Okay, now if you want to subscribe, I'm actually starting a weekly email series where I cover all kinds of things about essential oils and wellness to business advice, plus just some thoughts for the week. If you'd like to subscribe to my weekly email series, you can do so by going to my link tree at pjhanks.com/linktree and choosing to subscribe there and filling out that information, and you'll start getting my weekly emails, which are full of all kinds of fun things, including knowing when my next class will be, which is for this class, we will have a class on July 25th and at the same time, and it's going to be on essential oils and emotions. So I hope you can join me for that. All right, so let's stop this recording.